So on this day, a few years ago,
Yeah.
it was pretty tough for folks here.
And people talk about it all the time. We never get hit here. You know, we got a safe coast. We do get hit here, and it's not blessed by the Indians. I mean, there are chances that we do get hit. It's difficult for a hurricane to hit west central Florida into Manatee and Sarasota counties, but it did happen back in 1944. And this late in the season, too. I always say October's tough for us here on the west coast of Florida. So on October 12th, the storm was developing south of Cuba, and then it worked its way north and then eventually toward the northwest, and it strengthened to a Category 2 storm by around the 14th, and then it made it to a Category 4 storm just before it hit Cuba, and then a Category 3 storm right into west central Florida. Now, it did get downgraded to a Category 1 just before it hit, but it still maintained that Category 3 status storm surge. So again, that storm surge made it all the way into US 301 in Sarasota, where US 301 and 41 come together there by the Ford dealership. That's how far inland the Gulf of Mexico came. And they did a research on this storm. It's now the 7th costliest hurricane ever if you factor in today's dollars. And it would have been $19 billion worth of damage here if that same storm would have hit today in today's dollars. So an amazing storm with gusts up to 120 back on this date, October 19th, 1944. So it can happen. Nothing like that today. Boy, beautiful beach shot from Barbara. Appreciate that. And a few fair weather cumulus clouds out there. And the Casey Key webcam showing calm conditions out there in the water as with that easterly flow. And it always means nice conditions there for boaters. Although the winds and seas will start to pick up a little bit as we head into the weekend. Now, as far as the weather headlines read, tropical system developing to the east. So there is another one popping up. Warm again Thursday. High temperatures past 2 days into the 90s. And looks like again today. But there is some relief on the way. We talked about it earlier. A cold front is going to make its way through. Right now, some showers along the east coast. Not much going on here. All is quiet, and it will stay that way, too, it looks like, through the night. 87 degrees currently, and the dew point 62. The winds are out of the east, rather brisk. It's 17 miles an hour. And the high today did manage to get to 90, above average of 85. 92 the record, and set back in 1971. This morning's low was 3 degrees above the average, and it's 70 degrees to start the day off. For the month now, 2.64 inches of rainfall. Temperatures right now, 86 in Tallahassee, 77 in Jacksonville, 81 now in Orlando, and 84 in Miami. Around the area, temperatures still into the mid-80s to lower 80s. 81 in Arcadia, I should say, in Punta Gorda, 83 Northport. Inglewood at 84, 2 degrees warmer in Venice, and the Gulf of Mexico now at 80 degrees. Cortez at 87 and Bradenton at 88 degrees. Well, the forecast tomorrow looks pretty much like we saw today. High temperatures at the beaches in the upper 80s and even low 90s inland. And in the tropics, well, we talked about this earlier, the tropical system trying to pop up, or possibly subtropical and then becoming tropical in nature. Reconnaissance aircraft was expected to investigate the area today. They canceled that, and they have a scheduled fly-in tomorrow to see if indeed a surface low has developed here. There's definitely a low pressure, broad area of low pressure, and if it were to develop, it would be Otto, the next named storm up, and it would move off to the north and then eventually to the northeast because of that cold front I talked to you about. That cold front will keep it off the U.S. coast, it appears. And water temperature is still very warm in the northwest Caribbean, so we'll have to wait and see if that front makes it all the way down there to cool things off, to shut that off as well as far as tropical development goes. But here comes the front. This is Friday at 6 o'clock. Looks okay for football Friday night. Now, there may be a few brief showers around late, but for the most part, this tropical system staying well to the east. Temperature 63 in Buffalo now, Chicago at 65, and now in Denver it's 59 degrees, Wichita at 76, Omaha 67, and 90 now in Dallas. Well, as far as the boating forecast goes, it looks like this. Northeast winds 10 knots, and the winds and seas will be picking up as we approach the weekend, so keep that in mind if you have some weekend boating plans. Low tide at 9:20, another one at 11:28. Tonight, expect mostly fair skies, 69, and warm conditions. And then for tomorrow, morning sunshine, a few clouds in the afternoon, 87 your high. The extended forecast does call for breezy but cool conditions over the weekend. High temperatures below average.